So John, first of all, have you enjoyed being back at Ross County?
Yeah, it's fantastic. You know, it was a real bolt out the blue, proverbially, that I wasn't expecting to get back into the management. I'd kind of looked at the fact that I was semi-retired. I was enjoying doing the BBC punditry here for most of the Premiership matches, and then also I was helping my wife Sally with TFX, her dance school, and doing a little bit of caddying at Castlestone in the summer just to keep fit. But the phone call came out of the blue. I was asked to go and meet the chairman and ultimately speak to Stephen and Don about the possibility coming back to assist. And in the end, it was a pretty straightforward decision. It wasn't an easy decision because obviously, you know, I'm old enough in the game to know that for me to get the job, people are going to lose their jobs, and I don't think Paul or Carlo done anything wrong in that respect, and that was the hard part for me. That was the bit I had to get to terms with, because I knew that by coming in that somebody was going to miss out, and I said those lads done a really good job for the club, but I was asked to come and help with my experience. I've got a lot of time for Don Cowie. As I said, he's one of a couple of guys I would do it for, and it's been an easy fit. You know, I know the club very well. I've seen the players for the last 18 months. We've brought in a lot of new guys. A lot of these guys had played against Ross County over the last couple of seasons, so again it was easy to work that part of it, and as I say, I'm here to add experience, I'm here to add knowledge, I'm here to help develop Don as a manager, and as I say, it's early days. We're building a new team, we're building a new focus. You know, we're going to have a lot more of the ball than we have had in the last couple of seasons, so we've got to get round that. Players' heads that are here, get used to that. And as I say, you know, we've basically been 7 new signings. I include Jay Henderson in that because he was on loan for a season. 7 new signings, so it's going to take time to gel. It's going to take time to knit together properly. We've seen flashes in the game so far. We're frustrated, hugely frustrated from Saturday's result, but we've got to learn from it and move on because it's a tough league.
Definitely. And what was it specifically, you know, from the chairman and Don himself that attracted you to come and be a part of Don's coaching team?
Yeah, the fact that first and foremost that they saw that my experience in the game and knowledge of the game, and I've managed over 400 matches. I've been, you know, coaching now probably for 22, 23 years, in some aspect, whether it's been assistant coach, whether it's been a manager, a strikers coach, etc. And director of football. So I've been involved in the game. I've never been away from the game. In that respect, but you know, it's nice to be wanted. That's always the thing in football. You know, you can have all the experience in the world, but if nobody wants to employ you, then you're not going to work. Now, in saying that, I had opportunities to go lower league part time. I had opportunities to go Highland League, but I just felt that no, if I was going to do a project, it had to be something that I was passionate about. As I said, I spoke to Stephen and Don, and they showed what they were after for this season, and they were pretty full up front that they felt my experience and knowledge could help the team, it could help the club, but more importantly it could help Don develop, because he's got huge potential as a manager, and hopefully my experience can rub off for him as Donald Park did for me.
And obviously a big clash coming up here on Friday night against Johnston under the lights. You must be looking forward to getting a home league match ticked off.
Yeah, Friday night football is great. It's one of these things. I think it's if you get the right fixture, it's fantastic. And technically, this is a local derby for us. You know, either end of the A9. So St Johnstone fans will come up with their numbers on a Friday night. You get to kick off the weekend, and it'll be should be a big crowd, a bumper crowd, and it's a game we're looking forward to. You know, I think both teams have gone down and want to go straight back up. It's a simple, straightforward, and so that fixture's been thrown in early. They had a fantastic win on Saturday. They hammered Partick Thistle, and we know how well Partick played up here, so we're under no illusions as to the magnitude of the game and how difficult it's going to be. But we expect that. Every single match in the Championship is going to be a tough game. You know, it's very rare, as you saw their result Saturday, to get a 5-1 win and be 3 or 4 goals up in the last 10 minutes is a rare bird indeed. In this league, you look at the other 4 results, all draws. That's a normal Championship thing. That's very tight matches. There's not a great deal between them. So they'll be coming up full of confidence. That's fine. We expect that. They'll be coming to have a go at us. We know that and we'll be ready for that. But we have to show our strengths. As I said, for the first hour, we were excellent. It was an ideal away performance in terms of what we'd done to get 2-0 up. We lost our way for 15-20 minutes and then finished strongly. Had a couple of half chances to win the game, but we're frustrated. That's the key. The fans that went to the game will be frustrated. The players were frustrated. The management's frustrated. So we've got to channel that frustration into a confident display on Friday night and go out there and try and win the football match, because that's our aim. It's as simple as that. We're at home. We want to have a strong home record. We'll need to have a strong home record to get the ultimate aspect, which is the title. We want to win the title and we want to get back into the Premier League.
Are there any elements of the performance on Saturday, perhaps particularly from the last half an hour, that you specifically think need to change or be different heading into Friday night?
No, I don't think it's the last half hour. As I said, we were in complete control up until the goal in 62 minutes. Ross hadn't had a save to make. There wasn't one effort and goal for him to worry about. As I said, we made a bad decision. We moved out of position, allowed the ball to be played in behind us, and Ewan Henderson's managed to squeeze it in, and then the momentum suddenly switched from being comfortable and in control. We had to batten down the hatches. We didn't manage to do that. We lost our shape. The distances between the lines got huge. The game got stretched, which suited Airdrie, who started playing in pockets. They got the second goal, and then bizarrely, we seemed to switch back on. We got tighter as a unit. We got closer to each other. We started passing in between the lines. We wrestled the initiative back and started to push towards the winner. Forced a few corners or a couple of shots. Ronan was just wide with one, just over one another on the free kick. Near the end, a couple of block shots. So that was the aspect of it. Was that we initially the 15 minutes after the second goal, we dealt with brilliantly. We knew they'd come at us. We soaked up their pressure. We hit them on the break. We had opportunities to get the third, but we didn't deal with the aftermath of their goal. That was the part that we struggled with, and then we just got too disjointed. And I'd say the gaps got big between us, vertically and horizontally, and allowed them to start to control the match the way they wanted to play it. So, as I said, we've got to move on from that. That's an aspect of it. We've got to fully concentrate for the 90 minutes. We've got to understand that at 2-0, that you need to get that third goal. You need to kill them off, because you saw 2-0 to Partick Thistle. We had 2 or 3 chances to get back in at 2-1. Didn't take them, had to chase the game. The more you chase the game, the more gaps open up. This will get a third. That's what we were trying to do Saturday, but we just had that 12-minute spell where we didn't operate properly. We didn't use our experience and knowledge to get tight, to get compact and make them go round us, because they weren't causing us any problems going round us. But we didn't. We let them come through the middle, we switch off, and it cost us. And that is this league in a nutshell. You have to kill teams off when you're on top, and I say it's hugely frustrating that we didn't come back up the road from Lanarkshire with all 3 points.
John, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.